One second. Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Welcome, everybody. Whew, man, if it isn't a Monday, I tell you. Welcome, Derry Bennett, Quad Bennett, Michael Hassler. Sorry about that, folks. I got the dates wrong. I didn't change the stream title. I didn't turn on my camera. It is definitely Monday today, folks. I hope everyone had a good weekend. To the folks who have been affected by Hurricane Helene, I hope folks are hanging in there. It looks pretty freaking rough from what I've seen. All the images and reporting I've seen from North Carolina, Tennessee, and areas adjacent to that have been absolutely devastating. Kamikaze, welcome. Couple of announcements, folks. Tomorrow, we will be streaming the vice presidential debate. It will be done on the Discord tomorrow, 5 p.m. Not 5 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's when the vice presidential debate is going to be. So head on over to the Discord if you want to participate in that. You're not kidding. I ended up taking a COVID test today and it was negative. That's good news. Yeah, Asheville is DED. DED indeed. The place looks like a bomb went off. Do you know anybody from the world that could help me fight off corruption in esports? Match fixing, money laundering, developers of games giving away cheats for pro players and streamers. No, I do not, unfortunately. I do not. Also, yesterday, apparently there was a chemical fire at a plant in Georgia, and at least one county has been ordered on shelter-in-place orders, and another county may also be affected by it. I'll show you in just a moment. Folks, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. It really does help us out. Thank y'all for liking the stream on YouTube. Keep subscribing, folks. If you haven't done so, hit the follow button here. We're just moments away from hitting 2,500. Spread the words far and wide, folks. We are here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join the Discord, folks. If you want to support the channel, consider checking out the merch store and tipping your streamer. Yeah, put your mask on. It can't be good. No, it's definitely not good. I'll show you guys what's going on. Jesus. Sorry, that was way too loud. Whew.
On site. So once we get the product contained, get the situation itself mitigated, and then they will survey the area, the air, and once again we'll send out a public message speaking to whether or not you can return to your home if there's any further cause for concern.
So just to be clear, I don't know what the nature of the gases are, but it's not good. It's not great. It's not great. A lot of people have been reporting that it's chlorine gas, and chlorine gas is incredibly toxic. Some people have reported that they've seen local bird populations. Some have died. I don't know the extent of the damage, but I want to say that's like 2 hours. No, maybe less than 2 hours from here. That literally just happened yesterday. All right, folks, let's get started.
Get a load of this guy. Richie Torres, for some reason, decided to post his L on Twitter for everyone to see. And I'm not sure if he thought that this made him look good, but it makes him look deeply unserious. So he says, after speaking at a conference about climate change, I found myself accosted by an anti-Israel extremist who kept following me and foaming at the mouth like a raving lunatic. It's really ironic that he, of all people...
Yeah, like, this is the way a elected member of Congress is speaking, by the way.
Would accuse somebody else of being a raving lunatic when this man is one of the loudest cheerleaders for a genocide. 40,000 plus people have been slaughtered because individuals like him vote to send them money to kill those people. If you believe the study from The Lancet that takes into account indirect deaths of the war, then it's 200,000. But he's like, no, this person who's against killing, they're a raving lunatic. Yeah, I think you need to look in the mirror, buddy. I refuse to be bullied and intimidated by the extremes of American politics. My support for the U.S.-Israel relationship remains unshaken and unshakable. Well, that's fine, but you are an elected member of Congress. So there should be people who try to hold you accountable and politely ask you to stop supporting a genocide, right? But he makes it seem as if the power dynamic is like flipped, where this person is trying to bully him and they have all the power. Motherfucker, you're a congressman. You are the one with the power. You are the one that's now using your platform to bully the person who rightfully asked you why you're at a climate change conference when you are supporting Israel's genocide.
Since you didn't answer my question, how can you be at a climate summit when you continue to obliterate not only the people of Palestine, but the land? Every bomb that goes off not only kills
I feel like the
people,
greatest threat to our country are useful idiots like you. So
our greatest threat to our
Useful idiots like you, he
Amazing.
says, as he takes money from a foreign government to commit mass slaughter.
Yeah, the irony has not. The irony did not catch the irony there.
But yet this person who's against that is the useful idiot. This man is such a fucking piece of shit.
country is the climate crisis. And here you are sending billions to Israel to carry out the genocide of the Palestinian people.
Yeah, so like This guy doesn't. This guy probably doesn't care about either. So here's a question. The whole point about caring about the climate crisis, it's not just because you care about the environment and the animals and plants and the ecosystems, but you also care about humanity, right? So it's inconceivable to me that you, on one hand, would sign off on providing the bombs that are currently annihilating a group of people while pretending to claim to care about the climate crisis, right? It's kind of hard to believe that you hold these positions.
There's no genocide, it's a figment of your imagination.
The U.S. Pentagon is the
There's no genocide. It's a figment of your imagination.
Yeah. Cool. Never mind all the stuff that, gets posted on social media 24/7. But I guess that's all figment of my imagination. Never mind the amount of bombed children torn to pieces. I guess that's also a figment of my imagination, I suppose.
There are no words to describe how despicable this person is. What a loathsome individual.
Seriously.
Denying a fucking genocide. Listen, it's times like this where I wish I believed in hell, because if it existed, this person would absolutely be burning in hell for the shit that he's doing and saying. What a fucking piece of shit, denying a genocide, children being slaughtered. Those videos of little kids being blown up, the video of the little boy with his brain falling out of his head that we all saw from a couple of weeks ago, that's a figment of your imagination, according to this asshole.
biggest polluter in the world. You do have Palestinian constituents. What do you have to say to them?
I support all my constituents.
You support all of your constituents.
Yeah, how can you say that? That's not true.
Look at his smug fucking face, too. I can't take it.
As you continue to funnel billions of U.S. tax
I
dollar
support
money,
all my constituents by opposing terrorism.
every bomb that is
No, asshole, you're supporting terrorism. Those dollars that you're sending to Israel, it's supporting terrorism. The IDF is a terrorist organization. You're supporting that. You are the terrorist, buddy.
tested on indigenous sacrifice lands. It is a climate disaster, let alone the ecological warfare. The billions of dollars that we spend here could go to climate solutions. You are funding the obliteration of a people. You're just like walking around the block with me right now. You don't even know where to go. And you don't even know how to answer how you have literally been funding a genocide.
There's no genocide from their home.
You have not said the word Palestine
what
once.
would you
What
do
about
under
Palestinian
those
people?
You have
What
nothing to
about
say
the
about.
Just to remind you, he shared this video on his own volition because I'm assuming he thinks it makes him look good.
Amazing.
Delusional doesn't even begin to describe it. There's another one.
Bro really thought he had something, huh? Like, all this video that he, again, chose to post, it shows is that he's a heartless piece of crap.
What would you
What
do
about
under
Palestinian
those
people?
circumstances? You have
What
nothing to say about
Palestinian
Israeli
people?
suffering. Okay.
I
It's just what
absolutely.
you've got.
Can I?
You have nothing to say about Israeli suffering. We're not funding Israeli suffering, first of all. Second of all, she is not the person who is in power, you dumbass. You're the person in power. You're the person who has the ability to affect change. That's why she's asking you. But I mean, if you go back to the tweet, he's like, oh, she's trying to bully me. He doesn't realize that he actually is in the most powerful government in the world. You are the one with the ability to do something, but yet you're like, oh, you won't come. It doesn't matter if she condemns shit. What she says or does doesn't matter because she has no fucking power. You have power, Richie. Is this guy serious?
No.
He can't be serious. This is the dumbest person in Congress. I swear to God. Dumbest Democrat for sure.
Thank you. Can I thank you?
Shame on you.
I don't know. There's a lot of contenders for that spot. I feel like there's a lot of contenders for that spot. I'm gonna be honest.
For
continuing to carry out
we have a car we have to
and
catch. We have a
can
car
I
we
thank
have to
him?
catch. I think we're done here.
Well, whatever she said to you, I take it all back because I thank you. Thank you so much. Without you, I don't know where we'd be. Seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now I know why he shared it, because of that lady, bootlicker. Thank you so much. Why don't you just get down and lick his boots while you're at it? Groveling to power like that. Despicable. This guy is such a fucking embarrassment. He actually, remember, he admitted on a podcast that his support for genocide was actually making it difficult to find people to date, because he talked about how like he'd tell people on dates he's a Zionist and they'd be like, oh, and then, you know, he would put his number in their phones as your favorite Zionist, as if that's charming. So like he's mad, right?
That's kind of creepy, man. That's kind of creepy. Might be me though. I mean, I think the camera's okay. It might be the encoder. It might be Twitch. Do a quick refresh and let me know.
Right? He's pissed off and he thinks he's owning them, but he's going to be nothing more than a member of Congress who supports genocide.
Yeah, that's so creepy. Why would you do that? Like, just like, just to like, even if like, I don't know, it's just weird to do that, right? To save your number on somebody else's phone. I might just have to move my stuff over here. Okay.
Who is sexually frustrated because nobody wants to fuck you because you're a murderous war criminal. Like, that's all you're going to be remembered for. I hope that Jamal Bowman primaries him and kicks his ass to the curb. It would be really, really nice to see him eat shit in an election for his support for genocide. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's a possibility right now, because voters in America, even though if you poll them about it, they're against the United States government sending weapons to Israel to do a genocide, but it's not that salient to them. So they're okay with somebody like this remaining in Congress. It's not like a red line for Americans. And until it is, people like him and John Fetterman, they're going to gloat about their support for genocide and pretend like they're on the right side of history. But I promise you, future history books are not going to look back kindly on people like this. People who are defending the murder, the indiscriminate slaughter of women and children like this, with this full chest. It's just so gross. And then posting it as if this is some sort of a victory for him. No, you're gross, man. You're a sick son of a bitch. And if you had any shame, you would not share shit like this at a minimum. But like, if I were him, I couldn't live with myself. I would resign from Congress. But he has no shame. You can't shame the shameless. So he's going to continue to post his L's on the timeline and let people know how much of a genocide supporting piece of shit he is. But, that's fine. You can, broadcast your genocidal intent to all of us, but your constituents have a right to confront you about it and to pressure you to not do that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So I think it's honestly, it might just be Twitch, because I saw myself kind of pixel out a little bit. So it might just be not Twitch. I'm sorry, the OBS encoder. Yeah. So that might be what's going on here. So I'm just gonna chalk it off to a case of the Mondays. Okay. Everything is having a case of the Mondays, including including OBS. We're just gonna try to power through this. Shifting gears here, let's talk about Pim Tool and his let's talk about Pim Tool and his latest conspiracy theory. Very big brained. I'm sure we're gonna get a solid laugh or two. Okay, I'm sure we're gonna get a solid laugh or two out of this one.
Tim Pool has a new theory about migrants and his favorite restaurant. Or I should say the favorite restaurant of his audience of 14-year-old boys. Here we go.
It looks fun.
Is it McDonald's? Please tell me it's McDonald's.
Wisco Welder says the factory I work at that has had low sales for most of this year, they told us the purchase orders have significantly dropped and few had big layoffs. All right. Here's why they're ramming as many
sushi. Wait. I think you're onto something.
Migrants as possible into this country. Why is Hooters shutting down? Ain't nobody buying.
Of course. Of course.
In chicken wings anymore. They're hoping that by flooding the country with migrants, they'll start going to Hooters. The only problem...
That's true. It's true. That's exactly why the Democrat Party is funneling in millions and millions and tens of bajillion, gazillion migrants, okay? That's what's really going on here. Tim cracked the case, everybody.
Is you've got stories of migrants grilling cats and slaughtering mammals in the street. You need proper integration. Do the people...
So, what? Number one, no, that's not happening. You know it's not happening. You're just freaking pushing this nonsense. So that you can then, I don't know, twist this into a weird conspiracy theory about Hooters? Question mark? Welcome, Fomash. No, the simulacra, welcome. That's why migrants come here in the first place, for Hooters wings. Is that what they sell? Yeah. Sure. That's the real reason migrants are here. Are eating house pets or eating an overpriced chicken wing place? His logic is dizzying. Yeah, well, there is none, so.
They'll start going to Hooters. The only problem in this country. Why is Hooters shutting down? Ain't nobody buying chicken wings anymore. They're hoping that by flooding the country with migrants, they'll start going to Hooters. The only problem is you've got stories of migrants grilling cats.
Wait, so they're hoping that... I'm sorry, this is extremely difficult to follow. Not that, like, this is an exercise in futility, but, like, we're going to give it a shot here. Hooters still exists? Yeah, it does.
In chicken wings anymore. Big layoffs. All right. Here's why they're ramming as many migrants as possible into this country.
Okay.
Why is Hooters shutting down?
Okay, wait. Hold on. Here's the real reason why they're ramming migrants into this country. Why is Hooters shutting down?
Nobody buying chicken wings anymore.
Okay.
They're hoping that by flooding the country with migrants, they'll start going to Hooters.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. That makes perfect sense. So, the reason why this entire conspiracy theory is happening is to get migrants to go and buy chicken wings at Hooters. The problem is I'm going to now push this racist conspiracy theory about pets, about the migrants eating pets. So now that's why Hooters is failing. Sure. Cool. Thanks, Tim. Why Hooters and not KFC? What in the F is this guy saying? I don't know. That's my best shot, okay? I don't know what he's saying.
The only problem is you've got stories of migrants grilling cats and slaughtering mammals in the street. You need proper integration.
Yeah, a thing that's totally happened.
Do the people coming here for work permits, do they actually want to go to Hooters and Pizza Hut? Because if they don't, you are not saving industry.
Wait. Oh, I get it. So he's saying that he's saying that it's not worth bringing in these migrants because they're not going to Hooters. Got it. And Pizza Hut specifically. Got it. Yeah, the specificity is just amazing. Meanwhile, Tim Pool will fail to will fail to make mention of how migrants saved Springfield by actually working the manufacturing jobs there. So yeah, he's not gonna mention that part. Of course not.
You are just creating slums. Insane, mind you. But I guess I don't know what else to do. It looks fun.
Wait, so the premise is that you're trying to say that Democrats want migrants to come to this country to fill Hooters?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. The Democratic conspiracy of trying to save Hooters and Pizza Hut specifically.
Be consumers?
To be consumers. Well, it's an interesting projection because right-wingers want undocumented people in this country so they can be a labor force that's entirely exploitable and is under like a very precarious situation in society where they can get deported at any second and they can have their wages stolen.
Say, for instance, it's the late 80s and you're taking asbestos out of the Trump Tower. You have that big tough deal to do and you want to save a few bucks, so you have one of your guys go to a bunch of undocumented Polish laborers and have them take out the asbestos, giving some of them cancer, and then tell them, actually, we're not going to pay you until those undocumented, just hypothetically speaking, undocumented Polish workers threaten to kill the guy that you had line up that job. But that's exactly how capitalists like Donald Trump, and again, like Marco Rubio is, I think, the only person to ever make this point, that he abuses undocumented labor. And the line the thing he didn't draw attention to is that the whole enforcement of border security, the ICE and the what it was before that, I'm blanking, that border security is what capitalists call when they have uppity undocumented workers that aren't actually doing anything. It's not actually meant to do anything before that and get those capitalists in trouble.
And I'm
right, because like, have you seen like big cases against corporations hiring undocumented labor? No, right? Not really a thing. Does the government have an unlimited supply of Hooters and Pizza Hut coupons or something? God knows. Maybe in Tim Pool's alternate fantasy that he's created here. Maybe.
I'm surprised to hear that these Haitian migrants, they don't eat. Oh, that's what he's saying. I just put it together, the insanity. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're not eating Pizza Hut and
that's
Hooters.
Crazy racist. I didn't even connect that dot, but yeah.
We're putting it all together. That's right. So as I said earlier, so the problem is that they're supposed to be eating food, but because I'm a racist piece of shit, see, we all got it together. We all got here. We all arrived at the same conclusion.
Of course, here's the thing. I am willing to bet that actually some immigrants would, regardless of where they come from, whether it's Haiti, wherever, also they go to these American chain restaurants too. They might go to maybe certain different restaurants. You might get different restaurants in your community that they serve more readily. But also, like, it's so weird. Like that's such a weird theory that the Democrats are trying to flood communities to get consumers to save the thing. Like the actual theory would be that they're flooding it with undocumented, with cheap laborers. And the answer to that is labor enforcement and unionization.
So there's no pizza.
Yeah, you can get that. You can get all the way out of here with that nonsense. There is literally zero evidence that has been produced that has shown that this is actually an issue. So if you're just pushing this racist nonsense, you can just get out of here. Like, seriously. Get out of here.
Pizza Hut in Haiti, but there is a Domino's Pizza in Port-au-Prince. Did you know that?
Sure.
I've been to my stepsister lived in Vietnam for a year. Went to visit her there. Fast food American restaurants all over the place. That's the thing about globalization. There are McDonald's in many countries in Africa. There are fast food American restaurants in Haiti, including a Domino's. Maybe there are more Domino's people than Pizza Hut people. Hooters, I think they might be able to handle the chicken wings and the tits. I think they might be able to do so.
Go eat at Hooters.
No offense to Hooters, but food is not great at Hooters. People my generation aren't really going there either.
I know. People don't go to Hooters for the food. I think that's kind of commonly recognized. But so that's what he was trying to say, is that there have been these claims that the Haitian legal migrants here under temporary protected status are good for the economy. You had bosses saying they were good employees and not on drugs, like
and
the other people.
It raised the tax base. Like, these communities are dying. Tim Pool is helping destroy all these communities because guess what? A lot of these towns that are dying, vast majority of them, which is not to say Springfield because the tax base increased in Springfield because of this, but the towns that are dying that we hear about in the Rust Belt, they're not dying because refugees are going there. They're dying because everyone's fucking leaving because the economy's dead there.
Exactly. So he's trying to undercut that claim by saying they're not going to help the economy because they're not like us. They don't eat American food. They eat dogs and cats. So he's trying to quadruple down on the racist othering in the most stupid way I've ever heard in my life.
And what you should know, and like, I'm from Mandan, North Dakota, and the crazy thing to me is like the idea that like a whole bunch of people from different part of the world moving to my community would be bad to me never occurred to me in my entire fucking life. I would have thought, cool, it's nice to have more people here because there's nobody the fuck out here and there's nothing going on. And you see everybody, like you see brain drain. You see all these states, people like me move because there's no economic opportunity there. Okay, sell real estate, do these other things, like, or go work in the oil field or something like that. What Tim Pool is doing is killing your community. If you are in one of these small towns in the Rust Belt, he is killing it with racism. That is what's happening to these towns now, and it's fucking depressing because that's what. And Kowalski, I've talked about this too. Like, that's what we need is. We have plenty of room for all of the people we've displaced with our fucking foreign policy across the world. The least we can do is offer them ability to escape that and build a life.
Yep.
That's still frankly problematic with the type of brain drain that creates in the rest of the world, but it's our advantage.
I mean, CNN interviewed, maybe it was NBC, I'm sorry if I mixed it up, but one of the Haitian migrants that's living in Springfield who was a doctor in Haiti. And then he came to the United States and he's self-funding his nursing training because he's had to take a massive hit in terms of where he is at in the hierarchy of his career as it relates to his expertise to escape a horrible economic and political situation created by centuries of Western involvement in Haiti's political and economic affairs as it dates back to slavery, how France forced Haiti to pay reparations to former slave owners because they had the gall to have a successful slave revolt there, and then subsequently the United States filling that vacuum for years and years and occupying Haiti and all of that and replacing their leaders with the ones that are more favorable to the West and over again.
Obama
Because
and
of
Hillary
that,
Clinton State Department saying, hey, do not raise that minimum wage. We got Haynes, or maybe it wasn't Haynes, I forget, the Levi's to make.
And so for that doctor has to come and then spend his own money training to be a nurse in this country. And then apparently they're the ones who get
Rehobo, hey, welcome back. Welcome back. They're talking about the elections. No, this video is about Tim Pool. Tim Pool's racist conspiracy theory about Hooters and migrants.
demonized in the press because of racists like Tim Pool and his audience.
Who, again, are the reason those communities are dying. And that, like, JD Vance is the perfect vice president for this, because he is willing to come from these dying, forgotten communities and say, actually, it's all our fault. We're not, like, and it changes based on, you know, who he's running for. Now it's like all the immigrants. It used to be like, oh, it's our own fault for not, like, going up and getting it. And what getting it means to JD Vance is rubbing the feet of venture capitalists like Peter Thiel.
El Knipchion writes in, the important detail is that the Haitian doctor you mentioned couldn't transfer his credentials. Yep, exactly.
I mean, that's always the way. That's what we do here, and it's awful.
All right, guys, I'm going to turn off the voicemail. I'm sorry. We're going to read some IMs and then get out of here. Skidmark Twain says, I attended a city planner conference in a Rust Belt state. Everyone agreed that immigration is the only way to save a lot of the dying and shrinking cities. Erica from New York, all these haters on the witch hunt after Mayor Adams need to be ashamed of themselves. The dinner table of success gained a lot of new haters this week, and it saddens me to say this, but it seems that New York is now the Pyongyang of America.
I love these guys talking about lawfare.
I know.
Sam jump scare. Inappropriate innuendo. Welcome back. Before we get into the headlines, we've got one clip. Here we have Donald Trump effectively describing how he would actually like to have a purge. And but don't worry, folks. It would only be for just a little bit. I'm doubtful that many in flyover states would welcome the amount of immigration needed. I don't doubt that. I'm not saying you're wrong. Unfortunately, people like Donald Trump and JD Vance have pushed this incredibly destructive and harmful, really, as the majority report was making the point, Matt, that being this unnecessarily toxically racist is damaging the very communities that you are pretending to care about, and influencing your supporters and influencing your constituents to essentially dig their own graves, so to speak. Does he realize in the purge situation, the rich at the first to go? Yeah, but he believes in his mind that what he actually wants is a purge of political opponents. Canada has been trying immigration to fill worker shortages from birth shortfalls, and people aren't happy about the brown people. This is layup for the Democrats, but silence on the racism. What about his trail? Dems got plenty of weapons. This is not 1980. But enough of me talking. Let's actually listen to from the horse's mouth.
Do it.
Oh, you meant the charges against him? That's still gonna resolve itself, but it won't be done before the election. It won't be done before the election. Which is why he's desperately which is why no, you mean trial. I think I know what you mean. You mean trial. I think you mean trial. But I get what you're saying. No worries. Jezebel, thank you for the follow. He wants civil war. How disgusting and embarrassing. What is the difference from what I wrote? You wrote T-R-A-I. Maybe I'm not reading this right. You wrote trail versus trial. See? That's okay. I got what you're saying. No problem. Yeah, what's happening with this trial is not going to be resolved before the election. So basically it's a Hail Mary for Donald Trump. He has to win, or else this is going to keep proceeding.
Do it because the liberal left won't let them do it. The liberal left wants to destroy him, and they want to destroy our country. If you had one day, like one real rough, nasty day with the drugstores as an example, but they have to be taught. Now, if you had one really violent day, like a guy like Mike Kelly, put him in charge, Congressman Kelly, put him in charge for one day. Mike, would you say, he's right here, it's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. It'll end immediately. Crooked Joe Biden, do it because...
Yeah, so he thinks that in 1 hour he can end all crime by essentially authorizing a purge. People don't take that into account when they're voting. You would think so, but no. Unfortunately, not many. Particularly his supporters don't take that into account at all. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them. So yeah, this dude is effectively advocating, or I don't know, living in a fantasy world where he would be able to enact a purge-like scenario and think that that's going to solve crime. Purge all felons. Yep. Wait a minute. By his own logic, Trump would also be purged. Trump isn't even allowed in most countries. True, because he's a felon, right?
Because the liberal left won't let him.
So I think the context before that is he's bemoaning the idea that the liberal left won't let police do their job. So his prescription is to allow a 1 day purge, to essentially kill all criminals and whatever that means. And crime will be solved in 1 hour. This is actually delusional. what absurd is the trial might be good for people because then you can cry everyone's against you. He's already crying. He's already crying that. He's already crying that he's calling it a witch hunt, you know. So yeah, he's already playing the victim card. Now, Sander, welcome. Crime brings in votes. Perhaps for him, for his cult members, maybe. We have sort of good news, folks. We have sort of good news. Georgia judge strikes down state's abortion ban, allowing the care to resume. A Georgia judge on Monday today struck down the state's 6-week abortion ban, ruling that the ban is unconstitutional and blocking it from being enforced. Nice! In a 26-page opinion, the Fulton County Superior Judge Robert McBurney ruled that the state's abortion law must revert to what they were before the 6-week ban, known as the Life Act, which was passed in 2019. The ban was blocked as long as Roe v. Wade was the law of the land, but went into effect after the Supreme Court overturned Roe in 2022. Abortions are now legal in Georgia up to 22 weeks of pregnancy. Many women, McBurney wrote, do not even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. For these women, the liberty of privacy means that they alone should choose whether they serve human incubators for the first 5 months leading up to viability. It is not for a legislature, a judge, or a commander from The Handmaid's Tale. Nice. Nice. I like this guy. I like this guy already. To tell these women what to do with their bodies during this period when the fetus cannot survive outside the womb any more so than society could or should force them to serve as human tissue bank or give up a kidney for the benefit of another. God dang, this guy, man. Whew. If I could give him a standing ovation, I would. If I could give this guy a standing ovation, I would. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. And a footnote, McBurney added, quote, there's an uncomfortable and unusual and usually unspoken subtext of involuntary servitude swirling around this debate, symbolically illustrated by the composition of the legal teams in this case. It is generally men who promote and defend laws like the Life Act, the effect of which is to require only women, and given the socioeconomic and demographic evidence presented at trial, primarily poor women, which means in Georgia primarily black and brown women, to engage in compulsory labor, i.e. carrying the pregnancy to term at the government's behest. McBurney's ruling arrives at the ProPublica after ProPublica reported that two Georgia women died after being unable to access legal abortions in the months after Roe was overturned. Well done and well said. Well done and well said. What do you think about the invasion? What invasion? Oh, to Lebanon? I think it's silly. I think it's completely abhorrent. I think it's completely abhorrent. Israel, Netanyahu's government. Netanyahu's government is desperate to continue to hold on to power by continuing to engage in these wars. I'm from Israel. Well, the government of Israel is acting in a way that's completely unacceptable, and the government of Israel is going to bring about its own destruction, all because of Bibi's hubris and quite frankly arrogance and self-centered attitude, that he's literally putting all of Israel in peril, because he doesn't want to face the music. Netanyahu's approval rating has been going up recently. Sheesh. He must be replaced. I agree. His entire government's got to go. His entire government's got to go. Because this is just unacceptable. But leaving him aside, I don't see any other option. Well, I mean, replacing him, yeah, would be the first start. Maybe not trying to start wars and start fires in other places would be a start. I mean, about Hezbollah? Well, Israel's the one that's starting this stuff right now. You know that, right? You know that the only reason that all of this is happening is because the Israeli government decided that it was going to that he decided to do this. It's his fault. How would you stop the rockets from being fired? By stopping all hostilities and coming to the table. That's how you do it. You negotiate. You negotiate for peace in the region. When there was a pause for hostage exchange, the rockets stopped. Yep. There are negotiations for 11 months. Yeah, and whose fault is it that they've folded each time? It's Netanyahu. Netanyahu doesn't want peace. Israel doesn't want peace. I don't see it like you. Sorry you can't see what's happening. Even though you're there. From there. Hezbollah decided to enter... Hezbollah decided to enter because Israel started razing Gaza to the floor. That's the reason why the rockets were fired. Hezbollah was very specific as to why that was happening. You know that, right? It's Netanyahu's fault. Okay, so you acknowledge that. So then you asked how to get the rockets to stop. I already told you how they started, right? What started the rockets? Netanyahu did. Netanyahu raising Gaza to the floor is what started it. So maybe it's stop killing is what will stop the rockets. The Simulacra pointed it out. The moment there was negotiations the moment there was a pause for hostage exchange, the rockets stop. If you stop bombing Gaza, then the rockets will stop. It's that simple. Netanyahu has had the ability and has had the ball in his court for this entire time for peace. He doesn't want peace. So you want to know how you get the rockets to stop? Ask Netanyahu. Okay? Are we saying baby has the intellect of G.W. Bush? There's only one way to stop terrorism, and that's peace. War will never do it. I agree. But Hezbollah started shooting on the 8th of October. That's before Israel entered Gaza. I can assure you that all, as far as I know, all that has happened between Hezbollah and Israel is after the fact. All that's happened between Hezbollah and Israel now, I'm not saying previously. I'm saying after Israel started attacking Gaza, that's when Hezbollah decided to join. They said they were going to join the fight if you continue to attack Gaza, if you continue to bomb Gaza. That's why they entered the fight. That's why those rockets are flying. Now Beirut has been bombed and hundreds of civilians have killed there. Yeah, I think it was like 500. Last time I checked, it might be more now, but it was hundreds. Hezbollah on Sunday said it launched guided rockets and artillery into 3 posts in the Sheba farms in solidarity with the Palestinian people. Right. So again, that goes back to the same point. This is all Netanyahu's fault. This is all Netanyahu's fault. In solidarity on the 8th of October, solidarity for what exactly? This only happened because Israel bombed Gaza. Okay? That's why this is happening. If you truly believe that you actually want to stop terrorism, then Netanyahu's doing all the opposite things. Netanyahu's probably Hamas's and Hezbollah's best recruiter, honestly. But I understand the 8th of October, Israel had not started their bombing campaign or invasion. think it bears mentioning 2023 was the deadliest year for Palestinian children before October 7th. Yeah, that's a good point, too. That's true. All right, folks, we got to get through three more headlines. Republicans are starting to raise alarm about Trump's ground game. Some battleground state Republicans say they're worried they see little evidence of Trump's ground game and fear could cost him the election in an exceedingly close race. This is good news, folks. This is very good news. In interviews, more than a dozen Republican strategists and operatives in presidential battlegrounds voiced serious concerns about what they described as a paltry get-out-the-vote effort by the Trump campaign, an untested strategy of leaning on outside groups to help do field work, and a top-of-the-ticket strategy that's disjointed from one Republicans down the ballot are running. After years of attempt to mimic Democrats Barack Obama's era grassroots organizing model, the GOP is trying to develop a ground game strategy that can rival their opponents. And as Harris continues to pour money into her door-to-door efforts, some of the strategists and operatives fear the party's efforts this year will fall short, potentially hampering Trump in key battlegrounds. The question in my mind is, are they all singing from the same sheet of music, and is there a strong, extensive, well-funded machine at the top of the ticket? Said Stephen Lawson, a Republican operative in Georgia. I think that's a central question heading into early voting next month. A Michigan-based GOP strategist granted anonymity to speak candidly described the party's challenge bluntly. They're outmatching us in money, in enthusiasm, and in the ground game. Very good news. This is very good news. Campaign ground games, which include door-knocking and ballot-chasing efforts organized by the campaign and outside groups, can be a make or break in close elections. And it's not as though the Trump campaign is doing nothing to help milk votes in competitive states. His campaign has marshaled a volunteer army of door-knockers and phone callers referring to as the Trump Force 47, made up of 30,000 specially trained area captains and hundreds of thousands of other volunteers focused on getting out the vote. A Trump campaign official was granted anonymity to speak candidly about the campaign's plan. How are they funding all this? Well, it's volunteers, right? Is that how this is happening? Because I'm thinking, like, where would they get this money? Yeah, it's a volunteer army. And aided by a federal election commission decision earlier this year allowing super PACs and other outside groups to coordinate with campaigns on voter turnout strategy, Trump's campaign is also relying on the work of outside groups to reach a goal of knocking at least 15 million doors, the Trump campaign official said. While Trump's team is receiving help from a number of conservative groups carrying out to get out the vote operations, organizations like Elon Musk's America PAC, Turnout for America, America First Works, TPUS, Turning Point Action, and Pennsylvania Chase are among the groups that they're particularly working close with. But several Republican operatives said they aren't seeing the same kind of presence either from the Trump campaign itself or from outside groups that they did during his previous presidential runs in 2016 and 2020. Down-ballot candidates for state legislature in some battleground states aren't running into Trump canvassers at the doors or seeing the campaign's literature left behind the way they used to. One GOP operative in a battleground state, who like others was granted anonymity to speak candidly about the state of the race, cast doubt on whether Trump Force 47, what a cringy freaking name, but okay, is actually putting any of its recruits to work. It's almost like a timeshare scheme. Dude, is there anything that this guy does that is not a con? Like, is there anything that this guy does that isn't, like, fake? You have to go in and do the training, and you get the swag and the hat and the yard sign. That's what you have to do to go get it. Doesn't seem like people are really being activated, and the campaign's not forthcoming about whether they have been activated. Both the Trump campaign and the outside groups say it makes sense that battleground Republicans may not see their work because they are trying to reach low and mid propensity voters. That means spending less time than before in the dense, high turnout suburban areas where the swing voters need more persuasion attention and less turnout attention. persuasion attention and less turnout attention, said James Blair, Trump's political director. We've worked really hard to mobilize the infrequent or occasional Trump-inclined or anti-Harris voter that's pretty disconnected from politics, a little bit off the grid, and not contacted by campaigns regularly. And that often means they skew more rural or ex-urban and live in dense areas, lower income areas, and newer to voting. And sometimes that means there's less frequency and less visibility in areas that are plugged in politicals who talk to media are used to. A person familiar with the outside effort granted anonymity to speak candidly about their work put it this way, quote, for those not seeing canvassers in traditional places, the answer is no doubt we're not running a traditional program. Sure. Okay. Yeah, watches, Bibles, shoes, water, NFT, Bitcoins. Oh no, physical coins and now a Bitcoin. Didn't he just launch something else? I'm pretty sure he did. And of course, make hair great again. Although I'm not sure this is his, but it's being showed in his during his speeches. A cheap looking watch. Outside groups also say their work with the Trump campaign is more effective than past Republican National Committee Get Out the Vote efforts, allowing the campaign to focus dollars on things like ads and candidate travel. Some of the groups, like America PAC, are blanketing the country, while others, like Turning Point, are zeroing in on particular states, in their case focusing on Arizona and Wisconsin. The preliminary data says we have shown that our efforts are massively successful. I totally disagree with the premise that something is wrong, said Yanukovych, a spokesperson of Turning Point Action. Turning Point, affiliated with the influential and controversial activist and commentator and Nazi-adjacent or flat-out Nazi Charlie Kirk himself, has been the most vocal of the outside groups on the right about its ground program, which is targeting low-propensity conservative voters, those who support Trump but didn't participate in one or both of the last presidential elections. Kovett declined to say how many full-time staff the group employs, but it said it added more than 200 new full-time staff in Arizona, Wisconsin, and Wisconsin in the last couple of weeks, covering hotel costs for volunteers who relocate to help door knocking during early voting. Ralph Reed, the founder of Faith and Freedom Coalition, focused on reaching evangelical voters, a quarter whom infrequently vote, and they will have 10,000 people working on their door-to-door knocking and phone calling program, roughly half of which will be paid. He said the coalition, in addition to efforts of other states, have 238 paid staff in Pennsylvania, 181 in Georgia, and hundreds of more volunteers in each. Nor are Democrats without their challenges. They're still rebuilding their on-the-ground operation after the COVID pandemic wiped out much of the party's infrastructure in 2020, and President Joe Biden's campaign failed to invigorate volunteers earlier this election cycle. The Harris campaign, in the first 5 days she took over the ticket, saw more than 170,000 new volunteers sign up and held more than 2,300 events in battleground states. Nobody wants to talk about Joe Biden at the door, so now they're trying to do this quickly, and that's hard, going from 0 to 100, said one national Democratic strategist. Yeah, granted anonymity, yada, yada, yada. The campaign is making up for lost time, and so much money was slower to get into the field because of Biden, so everyone's still catching up. Another way of putting it is Biden slowed the roll on this and cost precious time. Thanks, dude. Another Democratic operative who works in the field also raised concerns that the advocacy groups not tied to campaigns are still very underfunded. Across the board, groups are feeling the pinch. The amount you would pay for a canvasser is much higher than it was 4 years ago. Everything costs more than it did 4 years ago. But the Harris campaign, for its part, has the money it needs to pour into the remaining infrastructure needed. The campaign aide granted anonymity, yada, 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 said the campaign had 238 offices, roughly 1,750 staff in the battleground states as of Wednesday. The record fundraising hauls Harris brought in, raising $310 million in July, including $200 million in the first week after she replaced Biden, has allowed the campaign to pour additional resources into the ground game, including 418 staff and 30 offices last month. In the state with its smallest operation, Nevada, the Harris campaign has 142 staffers. A Republican operative claimed to be familiar with the Trump's team staffing level said they were only 16 campaign staff in Nevada. Jesus Christ. A figure Trump official disputed, saying the number was significantly higher while declining to share specifics. Trump officials also did not say how many full-time staffs are involved in their largely volunteer-driven Trump Force. Can't get over this name. Trump Force 47 program, but said there are hundreds of paid staff in more than 300 offices across battleground states. Oh boy. And the outside group aiming to help Trump have their own challenges, Elon Musk's group, which is in all 7 battleground states, has twice this summer cut ties with canvassing firms it had hired to knock hundreds of thousands of doors, according to the New York Times. The PAC declined to share how many doors it had knocked, but reports from the FEC showed that it had poured more than $72 million into independent expenditures, including $46 million into canvassing and field operations as of Wednesday. Oh boy. And some veteran political operatives have been critical of the overall focus on low-propensity voters. Quote, I just don't think there's a lot of juice in those oranges. It's not a good place to go, said Chuck Coughlin, a political consultant in Arizona who left the Republican Party under Trump. But it's logical given the fact that they're not giving the other segments of the electorate any place for buy-in. In Nevada, where the Republicans have long envied Democrats' storied Reid machine, GOP operatives are particularly frustrated. They laud the work that GOP Governor Joe Lombardo is doing through his super PAC to help down ballot legislative candidates, but say it's disconnected from the Trump-focused efforts. Quote, there's really no organization, a Republican operative in Nevada said. He comes out and they scramble to do a rally, but after that, there really is just nothing else. Oh, man, you love to see it, folks. Hopefully, this is signs that... hopefully, this is signs that the election will be not as favorable to Trump. Hopefully, that's what that means. And in such a close race as it is, that could prove to be a factor as to why he could lose, which I'm here for. I'm here for it. Any news that can potentially point to Trump losing is good news for me. Democrats sue to block new Georgia rule requiring hand count on election day ballots. Democrats sued the Georgia State Election Board on Monday today over a new rule that requires counties to hand count the number of ballots cast at polling places on Election Day, arguing it will allow for bad faith actors to claim that fraud has affected the election results. I agree. There's literally no reason for this unless there's evidence that it has to be recounted. Then you can recount by hand if there's an issue. But otherwise, there's no point in this, really. You'll have a vote count by February. Seriously. The new lawsuit escalates an ongoing legal battle between the Democratic Party and Florida's GOP-controlled Florida. Oh, I had a Floridian slip there. The new lawsuit escalates an ongoing battle between the Democratic Party and Georgia's GOP-controlled elections board over a series of controversial rules passed in recent weeks that critics say will bring post-election chaos in the state. Yep. Particularly an important state at that. Backed by Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign, the lawsuit argues that the hand-counting rule conflicts with state law and that the board overstepped its authority when it approved it. The 3 Donald Trump allies on the board approved this rule earlier this month in a 3-2 vote. If the hand count rule is allowed to go into effect, the general election will not be orderly and uniform. Large counties will face significant delays in reporting vote counts. Election officials will struggle to implement new procedure at the last minute. Poll workers will not have been trained on new rules because it was adopted too late, and the security of the ballot themselves will be put at risk, said lawyers for the Democratic National Committee. The Democratic Party of Georgia and others wrote in the complaint. Delays caused by the hand counting, they argued, would introduce opportunities for bad faith actors to claim that fraud has affected the election results, a result that would undermine the public confidence in the results and in the election of the Democratic candidates specifically. Right, which is the point. That's exactly the point, right? It is to make it seem like something is wrong, or to make the process so cumbersome that they could claim that something is wrong and sow doubt about the election results. That's what this is all about. Before the election board passed the new rules, the office of the Georgia Attorney General, Chris Carr, a Republican, warned that the board members that the new policies probably violated state law and would likely be blocked by a judge if anyone filed a lawsuit. I mean, aren't you the state attorney general? What are you doing, bro? These proposed rules are not tethered to any statute and are therefore likely the precise type of impermissible legislation that agencies cannot do, Carr's office told the board, saying the new rules could easily be challenged and determined to be invalid. Well, I hope so. The letter from Carr's team echoed concerns from Georgia State Secretary, Brad Raffensperger, a Republican, who said it was too late to change the rules for 2024. A separate lawsuit brought by Democrats against a pair of rules passed by the Trump loyalists on state election board in August is set to go to trial on Tuesday. Those rules require county officials to conduct a reasonable inquiry into election results before certifying them and allow them to examine all election-related documentation created during the conduct of elections prior to the certification of the results. Which we went over this when this was going on. This is so exhausting. It is. And yet, here we are. You know, this time around, they're certainly learning from their mistakes, and they're certainly being more coordinated and smarter in how they're finagling with the election. Whether or not any of that's going to pay off is yet to be seen, but they're certainly trying. They're certainly trying. I mean, they put Trump loyalists to make these rules with the explicit intent on trying to manipulate the results. It's plain and simple. That's what's happening. Plain and simple. Those Trump loyalists, in the case of Georgia, they're not there because they have a serious passion to make sure that the elections are done correctly. That's not why they're there. SV Harkin, welcome. SCOTUS will give it to Trump. What do we do with that? Well, if we find ourselves in a position like we did in the year 2000, I don't know. That's a scary freaking thought, you know? A tourist visit? Whew, I suppose we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, Mouselander, things in Minecraft, you know? Yeah, Minecraft pitchforks. Tomorrow, folks, there will be a there will be an event on Discord for the vice presidential debate. That one I'm actually I'm looking forward to that. So if you want to join the event, it is tomorrow. We'll have it set up in the presidential debate channel. 9 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure that you are on joining the Discord if you want to just watch the cringe or participate. You are more than welcome to hang out. The battle of good and evil. Literally, these two couldn't be any more diametrically opposed. Tim Walz and JD Vance, or evil against meh. Tim Walz and JD Vance's 2024 VP debate is tomorrow. Here's what to know. JD Vance of Ohio and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, both relatively newcomers to the national political spotlight, face off Tuesday in the only scheduled vice presidential debate before the November election. Mind you, at this point, the November election is about 2 months away, folks. Wait, no. About a month and what, a week away? The election is about a month and a week away, more or less. Walz, who's Harris's running mate, has had a long career in politics, but was largely unknown to outside voters outside Minnesota before he joined the Democratic ticket. Vance, the author of Hillbilly Elegy, was first elected to office in 2022, less than 2 years before being selected by Trump to be his running mate. Here's what to know about the debate. What time will it be? The debate starts at 9 p.m. and will run 90 minutes, the same length as the two presidential debates, and end at 10:30. I'm worried about Walz because he relies on one-liners and same talking points so much. I predict this man will fall back on the bringing the folks in and go full couch mode. Tim, you think so? I mean, listen, I'm hoping to get one, okay? He's got to do one at least. He's got to do at least one couch. He's got to do one couch meme, okay? Oh, and speaking of which, I'm gonna see if I can make a vice presidential debate bingo card, and I'll post it in the chat if I can make it in time. I'll probably work on it tomorrow if I can. Or maybe I'll just work on it maybe I'll just work on it after stream. CBS Evening News anchor and managing editor Nora O'Donnell, Face the Nation moderator and chief foreign affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan will moderate the debate. The debate is set to take place at the CBS Broadcasting Center in New York City. Trump was a lifelong resident of New York City, a Democratic stronghold, before changing its voter registration and primary residence in 2019 to Palm Beach, Florida, where his Mar-a-Lago club is located. Trump insisted during a recent campaign event in Long Island that he could win New York this year despite losing the state to President Biden by more than 20 points. When I told people in Washington I'm going up to New York, we're doing a campaign speech, they said, what do you mean in New York? Nobody can win. Republicans can't win. I said, I can win New York and we can win New York. We're going to win. Sure, bud. Both campaigns agreed to a 90-minute debate with 4-minute commercial breaks. Campaign staff are not allowed to interact with the candidates during the breaks. There will be no audience, a measure also implemented during the previous two presidential debates. At the event start, the moderators will introduce the candidates in order of incumbent party, with Walz coming in first. There will be no opening statements. Walz will stand behind the lectern on the left, which will be on the right side of viewers. Vance will be on the podium on the right, but the left side, he's going to be on this side. Candidates who cannot bring any pre-written notes or props on stage will have 2 minutes to answer a question and 2 minutes to respond. They will be allowed a 1-minute rebuttal. At moderator's discretion, candidates may get an additional minute to continue a discussion. Yeah, seriously, SB Harkin. Seriously, bro thinks he can win New York in a situation where he lost like plus 20. But, you know, whatever. Sure, dude. Unlike the presidential debates, a candidate's microphone will not be muted when their opponent is speaking, but CBS News reserves the right to turn off the microphones. Vance won a virtual coin toss on Thursday, opting to go second with his closing remarks statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for their closing remarks. No topics or questions will be shared with the campaign in advance. CBS will air the coverage starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS broadcast stations and affiliates. So the debate will start at 9 and CBS will cover it at 8. The debate can be streamed on free for the CBS News app on your connected TV or smartphone on Paramount and all platforms where CBS News 24/7 is available, including CBSNews.com and YouTube. We will be right here streaming it. Let me see the TV app if I can... Yeah, I'll probably just get it on YouTube. That'll be fine. Debate coverage on CBS 24/7 begins at 4 p.m. Jesus. I predict Walz will append the whole debate laughing at every pause. We'll put that on the bingo card. I just hope he makes one couch reference. Okay, that's my hope. I just hope he does one couch joke. Okay. Yeah, that's way too. That's way too early. I don't know if I could talk 5 hours straight about a debate that's gonna happen between two candidates like that. I still don't know if Vance is more aligned with Teal, Elon, or Leonardo, Leo Scotus, or both maybe. I mean, he is a direct propagation of Peter Thiel, so I'm gonna go with that's who brought him there, and that's who he's gonna answer to. I mean, he's a venture capitalist, right? 4 p.m. what time zone? It says it was gonna start 4 p.m. Eastern. The coverage, not the actual debate, but like, man, how could you like talk about this debate for 5 hours in advance? I just can't see it. But yeah, the debate itself will be at 9 p.m. The debate itself will be at 9 p.m. I mean, like, coverage, the other CBS channel will start coverage at 8 p.m. That sounds a bit more manageable. Maybe I could get in there on the Discord while I do other stuff. I can put this on before I sit down at 9. For the folks who want to, for all the political frogs who want to join in, I can probably put it at that time. Vance got put in the Senate by Thiel. Correct. Yes. Behind the Bastards did a great podcast on the fascists behind Vance. Oh, I gotta watch that. Whoa. Chill. Ooh. That was very loud. Who has his ultimate loyalty? I hope we never find out. I don't know. My bet is on Peter Thiel and his kind of circle. You know what I mean? Incredibly wealthy, powerful oligarchs. Trump. Yeah, at this time, yeah, I suppose so. But ultimately, he was placed there by, or maybe I should say, like, he kind of has to have like the ultimate loyalty, to Trump, right? Because that's the only way, like, how power works in the Republican Party. But like, he got there because of these wealthy oligarchs, you know. Mouselander, if you have a second, you can send me that link either by whispers and I can check it out later, or if you want to post it on the Discord, you can do so as well. I found the podcast, but I haven't found the particular episode, because I'm actually interested in that. All right, folks, it's time. Well, almost time for me to go grab some food. Thank you all for stopping by. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a more chill stream so that we have time. To prepare, or to go into the. I put in a Discord DM. I'll put it in the server. Thank you, appreciate it. That works too. It works either way. So that we can prepare for the vice presidential debate. So thank you all for stopping by. If you guys enjoy the content, keep liking the stream on YouTube. I appreciate it. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. We're at 258. Thank you guys. And on Twitch, keep following, folks. Keep following. Thank you to all the new followers. We're almost there to 2,500. Could you imagine that? Thank you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your follows and subscriptions and all that awesome stuff. If you want to keep supporting the channel, there are many different ways. Consider checking out the merch store and hitting ! tip. Put it on the video section, the channel videos, or YouTube, I think is what it's called. One of those. Here, actually, I'm on the videos. Okay, there's a videos channel. Put it on videos. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mouselander. All right, folks, we're heading out of here. Thank you all. Thank you, Michael Hester, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. And thank you for the folks stopping by. I appreciate all of you. Remember, folks, we're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Spread the word, okay, that this is one of the chillest places to be for the news and for the politics. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do a slightly chiller stream. And then cut it off a little early so we can take a break and head into the Discord for the vice presidential debate. Thank you all. As always, we'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Viana, hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Oh, hey. How come? Okay, there we go. Tomorrow. See ya. Thank you, SV Harkin. Appreciate it. Thank you, Kamikaze. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Michael Hasser. Bye-bye.